The promotion for Rolly versus Ryan hasn't been the greatest, and a lot of people are curious as to why. Me, myself included, I feel like this fight, and obviously Haney and what's his name? Jose Ramirez. I didn't mean to say what's his name. Jose's he's a good fighter. I just forgot about it for a sec because I'm always thinking ahead to that Ryan Garcia rematch. But Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney are fighting on the undercard of Rolly and Ryan, and then of course Arnold Barboza, who has been gaining a lot of momentum, is making strides in the boxing world right now and fighting well. Honestly, is going up against Teofimo Lopez. But what I'm trying to get at is like the promotion just hasn't been that good. Honestly, like I feel like for such big names being on a card, I mean, this is such a huge boxing weekend coming up on May 2nd, the 3rd and then the 4th as well, because you got Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Naoya Inoue, and the cash cow of the sport, Canelo Alvarez. And I feel like I'm just surprised that people aren't really talking about it as much. I feel like specifically the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, lineup, that card is just not being talked about enough. I feel like it's just a different vibe to the point where I don't want it to be another one of those things where, we're only seeing fight posters the week of the fight, because that's what it's looking like. I'm not seeing anything crazy. I live right next to the city, New York Times Square, and nothing's, really up about that fight. There's all the Knicks playoffs, there's about the Yankees, they're talking about the Mets, but no one's talking about this event between, some of the best fighters in the world right in the center of Times Square. And it's just a shame because boxing's in a place where it's a very transitional time period where we weren't used to getting the big fights. Now with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, that animosity, their planned rematch, but they have to get past that May 2nd fight. You would think that they're going to promote this fight so well because they really could capitalize on it. This is a time for the sport of boxing to bring in all those casual fans, to bring everybody to watch this event, because they all know Ryan Garcia. The casuals know Ryan Garcia, they know Devin, they know Teofimo Lopez, but they don't know Jose Ramirez that well. They don't know Arnold Barboza, and they don't really know, they know Rolly. They get a sense of who Rolly is. He's, a troll, he's funny, but ultimately you want all of these fighters to get the exposure that they need, on a big event like this. You want to maximize the outcome of such a high profile event that it should be, but it's not being treated or promoted like one. And I feel like it's just a shame because, these opportunities are rare. I'm happy the fights are, quote unquote happening. Hopefully they go to fruition, because for anybody who isn't aware, these fights are taking place in the center of Times Square. There are only these 3 fights: Haney versus Ramirez, Ryan Garcia versus Rolly, and Barboza versus Teofimo Lopez. And all of these fights are going to happen in the center of Times Square, outdoors when it's supposed to be like 50 degrees, which is, relatively warm for people on the East Coast. But I don't know how they're dealing with it on the West Coast, and they come here. And are they going to have excuses about it? Are they going to want to fight? Are they going to get sick? Like, there's so much that could go wrong. And, the least they can do is promote it. So when they don't promote it as hard, it makes me think, like, is it even gonna happen? Like, are we gonna get like robbed of a huge event where we were excited for it, the real boxing fans were excited for it, but ultimately we're not seeing any crazy promotion. Honestly, we're seeing, that roundtable event was the closest thing, but it's already been released like a week before the fight week events go down. So it's like, I feel like they could have done a better job of promoting the event because there's such consequential fights. Like really though, when you talk about consequential fights and meaningful fights, look at Devin Haney, look at Ryan Garcia. Like, these fights that they're about to have on May 2nd are going to be so telling, because it's going to be about, is Ryan Garcia really focused? Is he, mentally stable? And the same with Devin Haney. Has he recovered mentally? Does he still have PTSD from that beating he took from Ryan Garcia? Is he the same fighter? We're going to see on May 2nd, but they have to do a better job of promoting it, because I feel like nobody's really paying attention from, outside the boxing world. Us, real boxing fans, we know what's going on. We're excited for this weekend, but ultimately I want, boxing to grow and capitalize off this event, and they just haven't really been doing that because no one's really talking about it outside of the boxing world. So it is what it is, but, hopefully the fights do go down because, like I said, very exciting, very you know, high stakes fights. But, you know, let me know in the comments down below if you guys think that the fights are being promoted properly. I just feel like they could be doing a way better job, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys on the next Nabs Boxing video. Peace.